me about the series. I'm so excited for you.
I'm very excited about the series. It's called Sweet Tooth, and it's a story of hope in the midst of darkness. The story follows this 10-year-old half deer, half human boy who happens to be on a path to self-discovery. He also wants to see if he can go around the world and find other kids that are like him. And so that's where my character comes in, Amy Eden. I have found and made the old zoo in a post-apocalyptic world a sanctuary, a safe place for hybrids. And so they're all on the way over to me. And I really love the series. It's just been an amazing journey. It's based on the beloved DC Comics, Sweet Tooth, that's written by Jeff Lemire. It's produced by Robert Downey Jr. and Susan Downey, Linda Moran, Jim Mickle, Beth Schwartz are the creators. And honestly, the experience has just been overwhelmingly just magical.
I can imagine. Like, what was that like working with Robbie Downey Jr.? Because that's as big as it gets. It pretty much doesn't get much bigger than Robert.
It doesn't get much bigger than Robert Downey Jr., I would have to admit. And, it's just a dream come true for someone like me. I've been born in Dominican Republic. I've been in this business for quite some time. And so this was a beautiful opportunity to come in and do something that he would be producing. I don't know if you know this, but also it's his first collaboration with DC Comics, and it's Netflix first collaboration with DC Comics. And I just feel very fortunate to have had the group of people, the creative people behind this particular show, to really think outside the box and want to add a female heroine character, because I am not originally in the comic books. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, and I think that's so, because we're obviously changing as a society, and for so long, especially in the comic realm, for one reason or another, women were left out. So it's kind of exciting that we're rewriting history and and now changing these wonderful comics to include powerful women like yourself.
Yeah, I'm excited because of the journey so far has been a very, the role has been very three-dimensional. So I get to play this sort of mama bear, mother-like figure to all the hybrids. But I also, by the end of the season, end up sort of getting this strength because of me being wanting to be protective of the hybrids, and then become sort of like this warrior. And that's it's very new, it's very good for the times right now. The show itself, it's full of amazing messages. That's one other reason why I think the world was ready for a show like Sweet Tooth right now. We talk about, self-identity and being able to love yourself as you are. That's something that I really go through, not only with my character on a self journey, but also when I first meet my daughter, who's half pig, half human, and some of the other hybrids. And it's like, they're sort of like this fish out of the water, this new kind of species living in this world with all these humans that don't really know what to do with them. And most of them really are out to hurt them. So it's a very beautiful story, the way that it's told as well, because it is through this 10-year-old's perspective, and you can see the innocence in children and his hopefulness throughout this crazy, new times that he's sort of living in.
Yeah, and it's almost like, as a world, we've all just come out of a dark time. And I love that message about finding the light in a dark time.
Yes, like you said, as a society and worldwide, I think because of the pandemic, in a different kind of way, it's all about how you look at it, right? So you can look at it like something really bad happened, or you can look at it like, okay, so this is an opportunity for us to really look inside, really look at the world. What world do we want to leave behind for our children? And what kind of humans do we want to be towards each other? We have to unite and figure out how to move forward. And so we have been going through a very dark and difficult time as a society worldwide, and this is an opportunity to really try to look at it from a different perspective.
I love that, because but I think one of the the positives of what we've all gone through is it's the first time as a world that everyone has gone through the same collective experience, regardless of whether you're an actress, whether you're drive trucks for a living, regardless of your tax bracket. We all went through this thing together.
Yeah, it's a way to sort of unite as a human race, you know, because if you think about it, we don't have time to. The pandemic really brought a reality to like what really matters, you know, and what are you really spending your time with, and are you really, you know, going to care about the smaller issues that we've all spent so much time and so much of a part of our day doing on an everyday basis, like going to work and overexerting ourselves, and this sort of brought everybody together. Like we went through something and we were still getting through it in a collective, you know, from a collective perspective. And so I think that really unites the world.
I love that. I love that. And what was the biggest thing that you know, learnt while, you know, working on Sweet Tooth? There's obviously, we were going through this incredible thing as, you know, as a world together, but what did you learn when you were filming about yourself that you didn't know before?
You know, I just like my character. My character is a former therapist who's sort of miserable in the mundane things of life. I think, you know, me myself, I had gotten caught up also with like working all the time and traveling and sort of like, you know, not making enough time to care about the things that made me happy and the things that really I valued, which is family. And sometimes we can get into a world where like work and making money and being successful is the number one thing, and sort of like the show really put a lot of that into perspective for me. I felt like I was growing as Amy was growing, and we were on that same journey. And also, you know, the importance of nature. And I've had such an interesting journey, because coming from Dominican Republic, you know, I grew up with nature. It wasn't something that I really specifically thought about, like, okay, I got to take care of, you know, the earth and littering and animals. And so that's not something that has always been a part of my journey, but it's definitely something that I really dove into when it came to the role. And I think I was ready for that in my life as well.
And I think, you know, if you learned that, you know, playing your character, I think even people just watching, not only will they be entertained, but they will also take away life lessons that you took away from playing your character.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to the world taking in Sweet Tooth as a form of entertainment, but also as a different way to look at the world and see the messages the positive messages that it has, and seeing how you can implement that into your life. So that's exciting.